Welcome, everyone. We're happy to be here with you this evening. For those who are new or newish, my name is Zopa. This is Bill and Dora, and we're associate teachers here. So on Sunday evenings, we spend a couple hours together. We hope you can stay for the whole time. But if you can't, that's all right. And the first 45 or so minutes are, we practice together calm abiding. Getting to know our minds. Learning to focus where we would like to focus. Then we'll have a tea break. And then we come back for a Dharma discussion, which hopefully is helpful to your practice on and off the cushion. There's the most amazing light back there. You're pretty much backlit, so I can see shapes. But that's all right. It's what happens with the sunset in the sunny days. We're not used to them, but we're having them. So enjoy. So let's begin with our refuge and bodhicitta prayer. And I heard Rosemary ask if anyone needs a copy. Everybody either knows it or hums along. Okay. A couple people. So some of you have been here throughout beginningless time. It seems. So you know this, but in some ways that can cause us a difficulty because it can become very rote. And for those of us who've said it a number of times, just see if you can pin your mind to each word as it flows by. Get a sense of it. For people who are new, sometimes there's another problem, which is, what does this mean? So again, don't worry about that. Just get a feel for the prayer, a sense of refuge, which has a feeling to that word, right? Refuge. It's a sense that there's some kind of danger one would need refuge from. So that's the constant suffering that arises in our own minds. We want the refuge to be something worthy of refuge. And certainly the Buddha's teachings and those who follow the teachings seem worthy of that. If you don't know that yet, that's fine. We have a sense of faith, but it's based upon reason. And that reason is your own experience. So as you experience refuge, like, does this path work for you as you study, as you contemplate, as you meditate, as you apply it on and off the cushion? Then faith grows, but it's not about belief, it's about experience. And then a sense of confidence that rises from that experience. Okay, bodhicitta, in a very simple way, is that we are here together doing this to end the suffering of all beings. And on the Mahayana path, we don't leave anyone out. Friend, family, enemy, stranger, makes no difference. Animals, humans, other beings that are sentient, makes no difference. We leave no one out of our care, of our loving heart. They say the bodhisattva vows, they're like everything in Buddhism, big list, 14, then 37. But you really only need to remember two. And one is, if you find this path to be the accurate path, not to give it up. And the second one is never put anyone outside of your love. Where you say, I don't care, or off with their heads, or whatever kind of things we say when we're distressed. That's the way we violate the bodhisattva vow, if we put beings outside of that loving kindness, compassion, or we leave the path. Okay, so let's do this prayer with those few thoughts in mind.
Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness.
So in the Buddha's worldview, this moment that we're in, each moment going by so quickly, exists within beginningless and endless time. Time itself is a conceptual construct. Important to know that is part of the Buddhist worldview. Again, not a belief, not something you have to take on, but it is the Buddhist worldview. He talked about his past lives. Also within the Buddhist worldview is a sense of very deep, I would say endlessly deep interconnection among all of us, to the point where there's actually no separate, solid individual self, and therefore no other. One of the Zen-like sayings is, no self, no other, no problem. There's a lot of wisdom in that. As soon as we have self and other in our minds, which are two made-up concepts, then instantly there's a tension. How can the self get what it wants? What if there's differences? Of course, there is a conventional, everyday person with a name and job and identities, but that's a construct. When we dig deeper and we simply sit and look at any object, including ourself, and we look at all the parts it's made up of, there's not one single part that we can find as solid and separate. So to have a person, you have to have a body. Body's made up of infinite components. And of course, even Western science, which is not Buddhism, will confirm that. So you have to have the body. You also have to have a mind, a consciousness. If we have just a body there, and no consciousness within the body, we don't say that's a person. It's an inert body, just a bunch of physical components. And as anyone knows, when you turn to your own mind, oh my goodness, so much going on in there. So again, many components, many levels. And another part of the Buddhist worldview is that every single element is impermanent. You can come up with a thought, try to fix it and hold it. Can't do. Just simply cannot do. If you think of an apple and you think, I can hold this thought of an apple, it's not the same thought. You're having a different thought of an apple every however many nanoseconds or something. Everything is impermanent, every thought, every physical object. And this can either delight you, and under certain circumstances, it's like, thank goodness, it's impermanent, or it can lead you to feel some anxiety, like, uh-oh, where's the ground I stand on? So one author says, every single thing is made up of complex, innumerable, interdependent conditions. Just think about that for a moment, applied to yourself. You're made up of complex, innumerable, interdependent conditions. Seems to be true. And further, this author says each one of those conditions cannot be found when deeply analyzed. So, what does all this have to do with our practice of calm abiding? Well, wise beings have found that unless we calm down, both off the cushion and on the cushion, we will never experience this reality. Or we may have flashes of experience, but we can't stabilize them. And as a result, we wander in a kind of confusion about our own nature, the nature of others, so-called others, and the nature of the world, as though all of those are separate from one another. And based on that, we suffer. We run after what we want, and we're mostly disappointed. We run away from what we don't want, and mostly we get it anyway. So our practice of calm abiding begins to set a reliable basis to experience the true nature of our minds. So let's do some of that. Lately, we've been referring to very short sessions. That doesn't mean as a group we'll do short sessions, but on your own, on the cushion, simply relax. Find a very stable kind of position for your body. One where you feel firm, yet relaxed. No tension, nothing to do, nothing to adjust. And then for many people, depending on how new you are, you may need an object to focus on. It can be anything. It can be a corner of a red cushion in front of you. It could be the space between your nose and that red cushion. It could be your breath. So once we choose an object, it's quite good to hone in on it without any tension. Just experiencing it. Gently, persistently. And inevitably thoughts arise. Fine. We don't try to do anything with them. Just see them. And see that if we don't do anything against or for them, their nature is to go. They are impermanent. So every few minutes, especially if you tend towards dullness or sleepiness, or towards a lot of excitability, either one, every few minutes just stop trying and relax, even stretch a little on your own. Enjoy your meditation. if you need a stretch, then take one. Relax. For a moment, give up all effort to meditate. Give up all effort and see what rises in your mind. And if you need, have a stretch.
virtue may I quickly realize Mahamudra and establish all beings without exception in this state.
Thank you. So we'll have a tea time, and the tea and snacks are downstairs. Before that time, I'm sure there's some announcements. The only one I can think of is to share that we had a wonderful opening today, this morning for the children's program, and we had 9 young ones show up from about 11 years old to 3, and they had a marvelous time downstairs. We're trying to figure out a little bit about the noise, but the main thing was they liked it, and I think they're going to come back. And so we're really happy, and I want to thank Mary Woods and Carolyn Peck in particular, and Adele Hilson for being our teachers and helpers. And if anyone's interested in helping with that program, we do it the 2nd and 4th Sundays, and we can always use another adult or two to go down there for 1 or 2 hours to play with them and help figure that out. So see me if you're interested. And do we still have one more class with Jeff and Sally?
2 more.
Two more. I have lost track. So we have a series of wonderful classes going called Care and Feeding of Your Practice, focusing on the unbounded view with Jeff and Sally Allworth. So you can join in even tomorrow night and the next Monday, and we're having wonderful feedback from them. So what else do we need to talk about?
Julie's class.
Go ahead. I'm tired of talking. Your turn.
I talked all morning.
Oh, yeah. It's so hard. Isn't it hard?
Yes, talk. Next weekend on Saturday from 3 to 5 is the next gathering of the group that's working on various topics related to befriending death. So that's a wonderful ongoing group.
There's, I know since a lot of people aren't on the community email listserv, so you wouldn't know about some of these opportunities. There's a session for people who might be interested in cooking, either for retreats out at SCOL that will start having short retreats, or for visiting teachers such as Kemper Rinpoche, who's coming in June. And there's a session by one of our experienced cooks at 1:30 Saturday until 3, 1:30 to 3. So we can use more help in that department if anybody is interested. And Kemper Rinpoche, Kempa Lodra Dunya Rinpoche is coming in June, and registration is open online. So.
Okay. Any other announcements out there? Then it's tea time. Enjoy.